years and 227 days old, Max Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen entered Formula One as the youngest driver ever. However, he didn't have the opportunity to drive the best cars in his early years. Competing with the midfield team Toro Rosso, he still managed to score many points, showcasing his potential to become a future champion. His exceptional driving skills earned him a seat in the Red Bull car. Despite his aggressive style and occasional mistakes on the track, Red Bull recognized him as a potential youngest champion ever. However, this didn't materialize as Mercedes dominated the sport until 2020. Nevertheless, Max still managed to secure victories with the third fastest car on the grid. In the current era, we see Max Verstappen steadily climbing the wins ladder. But with the excitement of victory, one question remains. How does his success compare to the legends who came before him? Age 30 is often seen as the pinnacle of a driver's career, a perfect balance of speed and experience. But how many wins did the Formula One legends achieve by this milestone? Senna, often considered the greatest of all time, had 21 wins before turning 30 years old. His biggest rival at the time, Alain Prost, had 16 wins. British racing legend Nigel Mansell, who has an impressive 31 wins in his career, had exactly 0 wins before turning 30. Yeah, crazy to even think about it. But these guys raced in an era where there were about 16 races a season, and you were lucky if you finished more than half of them because of all the mechanical failures. Nowadays, you rarely see cars bursting into flames during a race. But what about legends after them? Michael Schumacher, who is also often considered the greatest of all time, had 33 wins before turning 30 years old. And that was before he started dominating the sport in his Ferrari. Fernando Alonso, being the youngest winner and also the youngest champion at the time, saw most of his success actually come before turning 30 years old. He had 27 wins. Now let's look at the stars of the current era, where we have more races and fewer mechanical failures. Also, drivers who get into the sport are much younger than they used to be. Much like the greats of the sport, Lewis Hamilton's impact on Formula One was most profound after he entered his 30s. But before that, he already had a successful career. Coming into the sport, driving a fast McLaren and almost winning a championship in his rookie year, like Michael Schumacher, he also had 33 wins before turning 30. Sebastian Vettel, similar to Fernando Alonso, saw most of his success also come in the beginning of his career. His first win with the midfield car Toro Rosso was one of the most impressive things Formula One has ever seen. Everybody knew it was only a matter of time before he became a champion, and we didn't have to wait long. A few years later, he was dominating the sport and had a massive 45 wins before turning 30 years old. And then we have Max Verstappen. Despite still being 26 years old, he already has 58 wins. Yeah, 58 wins. And we are still at the beginning of the 2024 season. There is a very high chance that by the end of this season, he is going to have more than 70 wins. Not only that, in 2025 we are going to have pretty much the same cars as in 2024. Considering the fact that 2026 will bring new regulation changes, all the teams are focusing on nailing the new regulations rather than catching the Red Bulls in 2025. So if you think about it, there is a possibility that Verstappen is catching Michael Schumacher's 91 career wins, and all that before turning 30 years old. Who knows how many wins he is going to have when he retires? Nobody sees the future. If we look at Alonso and Vettel, they both had very successful careers when they were young, and both only managed to win a few races after their 30th birthday. However, Hamilton's dominance with Mercedes began after he had already turned 30. There are many factors to succeeding. You need a lot of luck and being at the right place at the right time. At the end of the day, these are all just numbers, and numbers don't always show everything. Love him or hate him, Max Verstappen is already a living legend despite being only 26 years old, and we are witnessing something we've never seen before.